Taurus, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of July. So before I get started, this is going to be applicable for your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. Your rising sign is how other people perceive you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is how you process everything through your emotional lens, so that internal processing. And so really understanding all three kind of gives you that holistic picture for the month. If you're not sure what your rising sign is or even your moon sign, you will need to run a birth chart. There's lots of free software out there. You do need to know your birth time though, and it's because of your rising sign. The moon does move pretty quick too, so it's kind of impactful to know your birth time as well as your birthday and location. But those two, most people usually know. It's the birth time that sometimes people get hung up on. Anyway, jumping into the energy of the month. And so we just had the full moon in the sign of Capricorn on June 21st. What's really interesting about this year is that we actually have a second full moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st. So we had one June 21st, we have one July 21st. Capricorn is all about duty, responsibility, maybe any kind of strategy that you've put in place, some sort of structure here. And so you might have noticed that there's some themes connected to that kind of ebb and flow throughout the month since we're really in this energy. We also have some major retrogrades happening here. We all kind of know a lot of when Mercury goes retrograde. I feel like everybody knows it. It's kind of everywhere. It's hard to miss, but we don't really talk a lot or really focus a lot when these outer planets go into a retrograde status. The retrograde is really, it's a slowing down of the energy of the planet. So it gives you kind of that pause to take a step back, look at things from a different lens, focus on internalizing whatever the energy of that planet is. And so leading up to now, Pluto already stationed retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, so that happened earlier this year. Saturn just stationed retrograde on June 29th in the sign of Pisces. Neptune, also in the sign of Pisces, will station retrograde in the month of July, as well as Chiron in Aries will station retrograde in the month of July. Now, Chiron's not a planet, it's an asteroid, but it is the wounded healer, and it is pretty significant here. So we'll put a pause on that one until we get towards the end of the month when that happens. But starting out the month, we do have Neptune station retrograde in the sign of Aries, in the sign of Pisces. And so that happens on the 2nd at 6:40 in the morning Eastern time. And so Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. This is really about taking that step back, reflecting on your goals, your dreams, what it is that you want, what kind of work do you need to do. Saturn is all about work here. For you, that was Saturn retrograde. Neptune retrograde, more of that same energy. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And so this is all about your dreams. And so all of this energy is sitting in your house of friendships, your community, that 11th house energy. And so what is your ideal friend circle? So your tribe. What is your ideal tribe here? And what kind of reflection is taking place? Because this Neptune retrograde in Pisces will trine Mercury in Cancer. So this is really thinking about what it is that you feel. This sits in your third house. Your third house is communication. It's very similar to the Mercury energy. And so how do you feel about your friends? What kind of changes do you want to take? Do you want there? What kind of communication do you want to have with your friends? All of that is really being highlighted. We'll also have Neptune sextile the moon in the sign of Taurus. So Taurus being your sign, and that is your physical self. And so when it comes to any kind of internal reflection on your friendships, how does that create some sort of opportunity for you to feel good about yourself? That moon and Taurus energy, it is about your feelings around your physical self. And so it's creating an opportunity to maybe highlight what you value about yourself, really working on that type of energy. We'll also have Neptune retrograde sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so any kind of changes that you want to make to yourself, this is giving you some sort of opportunity to make those changes. Uranus and Taurus, you're very practical. That's just who you are. That's your sign specifically. But Uranus can sometimes feel uncomfortable. So some of these changes might come in a way that you wouldn't expect, but they're all meant for your best interest. This Neptune in Pisces will also sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Pluto retrograde, so internal transformation in the sign of Aquarius, again, breaking down some sort of barrier here. So very similar to the Uranus energy. But this is sitting in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So whatever is happening with your friends, maybe communication with your friends, feeling better about your communication with your friends, that internal reflection, it's creating more opportunities for you to maybe break down additional barriers at work. These would be internal type of barriers, nothing external. Then on the 2nd, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Leo. So that happens at 8:50 in the morning Eastern time. And Mercury in the sign of Leo. So Leo is very bold, very dynamic, very loyal type of energy. Mercury, all about communication. And so for you, this is sitting in your 4th house of home. Any kind of bold communication, so really speaking out at home or being loyal to your family, maybe even your ancestors, your lineage there with that 4th house energy. It flows with whatever internal reflection you have with your friends. So thinking again about your ideal tribe, what does that look like for you? What kind of reflection is happening here within you as it relates to your group of friends? And then how does your communication at home blend with that? Because this is an easy flowing energy. This is nothing that you would have to work on. There does seem to be that synergy. We'll also have Mercury and Leo sextile the moon in Taurus. And so it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to kind of focus on what you value about yourself, really getting in touch with that emotional side of yourself, to really think about and feel good about yourself. All of this is really positive energy. This Mercury in Leo will also create an opportunity for you to make some sort of changes because it will sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so any kind of changes that need to happen or that you want to make for yourself, this is going to create that opportunity. Again, with the bold action or communication at home, will square Chiron in Aries. And so for you, the wounds that are connected to Chiron are sitting in your subconscious. And what this is doing is you're acting and really kind of behaving in a way that doesn't allow you to address those wounds. And that's what that square represents. That's not going to be a forever feeling. This is, by the end of the month, we'll have Chiron station retrograde. So all of these wounds are going to come to the surface. But right now what it's doing is it's just creating some sort of challenge to any kind of internal healing that needs to take place. But again, not permanent. We'll also have this Mercury in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So again, the way that you are loyal to your home life or your family or the communication that you have with them, just being bold and kind of assertive in that way, it's opposite to this Pluto retrograde energy. So the changes that you want to make at work, internally make for yourself. So it is an opposite type of energy. So it's telling me that you're very bold at work. Maybe very direct, but also very loyal. And there's some sort of change that you need to make at work. And it just, there's like a push-pull happening here. You can work with the energy. It's not, again, this is going to flow, meaning that this energy will not stick around. Then we'll have the new moon in the sign of Cancer. So that's going to happen on the 5th at 6:57 in the evening, Eastern time. And so when this happens, you have the sun and the moon. They're at the same degree point in the sky. So this energy fully blends into each other. For you, this is really centered on your house of communication, maybe even short distance travel. And so feeling and expressing yourself is going to be very clear right now because that is about that 3rd house communication. It's all related to maybe the depths of your feelings about things. You're going to feel very open and very expressive. It might even be your communication style is more in touch with that emotional side. The sun and moon will conjunct Venus in the sign of Cancer. And so again, focusing here on what you value, it's all sitting in your communication. So there's a lot of emphasis on your feelings, maybe what you value, bringing things together. This could indicate some sort of relationships that you might be talking about because that Venus energy does rule relationships. So there might be something related to that. We'll also have the sun and moon trine Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so what this is doing here is anything that you feel, anything that you're communicating around your feelings here, it's going to easily blend with whatever internal work is taking place as it relates to your friendships. And so lots of really positive energy here. I'm trying to think of a really good hypothetical here, but it's more about like maybe expressing the way that you feel about your friendships. It all just kind of blends together because it kind of elevates that more. puts more kind of energy and emphasis into how you feel about your friends, the changes that you want to make here. Maybe you're the type of person who doesn't usually tell your friends that you love them, or, you know, have any kind of affection, outwardly affection. This would indicate that you might be different now. You might be expressing that more. The sun and moon will also sextile Mars in the sign of Taurus. And so expressing how you feel, really focused on your communications around your feelings, is also going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action on yourself, your physical self. This could be affection coming to the surface. This could indicate that maybe you're being motivated to maybe hug people more or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be anything that's kind of off the walls here, but it is creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action that maybe in the past you wouldn't take. It's really being motivated by how you feel about things. We'll also have the sun and moon square Chiron and Aries. And so everything that you're doing here, expressing how you feel, maybe even taking some sort of opportunity to take some sort of action on yourself, working on your friendships here, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to any kind of internal healing that needs to take place. This square Chiron and Aries, again, we'll see it, but it won't be around forever, because by the end of the month, we'll start to see that there is an opportunity to start some sort of healing here. And because that square Chiron and Aries, we also are in Aries Libra eclipse season. And so there's going to be squares to both the North Node and the South Node here. And so during this new moon, any kind of expressing how you feel, anything along those lines, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the work that you need to do on yourself. But we kind of just saw that with that Chiron energy. So we know that there's something that you need to do here for yourself internally, and it's not there. You're not ready yet. It's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. But it's also creating some sort of obstacle or challenge in your daily routine, because this does feel like maybe it's a little bit out of the norm for you to really express yourself in this way, really express maybe the depths of your feelings, because that is Cancer energy. And so it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge in your daily life, and something that maybe you're used to doing. The South Node energy does feel like you would be comfortable with whatever your daily routine is, and whatever is taking place during this new moon just feels very different here. So it's an obstacle or a challenge. It's something that you can definitely work through if you wanted to work through it. And then on the 11th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 12:19 in the afternoon Eastern time. And when Venus enters Leo, so Leo is a very bold, dynamic type of sign. It's a fire sign, so very assertive, very loyal. Venus likes to bring things together. So this is a really interesting combination. And for you, it's sitting in your 4th house. And so this is about being loyal to the people at home, or to your home life, or feeling like you need to assert yourself in some sort of way here. It's that kind of leadership type of energy that is taking place. And so this Venus in Leo will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so it's going to blend with whatever work you're doing to improve your friendships here. So whatever you're doing at home flows with whatever you're trying to do with your friends. And this Venus in Leo energy is also going to sextile the moon in Virgo. And so it's going to create some sort of opportunity here for you to work on passion projects, children, something along those lines. Virgo is a very much a healing type of energy. So if there's something here that you need to heal, it's going to create some sort of opportunity. So if you think about children, because we're talking about home and we're talking about 5th house kids, what this is doing is it's saying, okay, if I'm going to be loyal to my home life, or I'm going to be assertive, or a leadership type of energy, Venus, you want to bring things together. So it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to heal, maybe heal a relationship with children or something along those lines, because it's that opportunity that presents itself that you would have to take some sort of action on. If it's not children, it could be related to hobbies. So there might be something here where it's giving you some sort of opportunity to heal something so that you can go after your passion projects or anything along those lines. We'll also have Venus in Leo sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so how you are at home, so again, loyalty, bold action, that type of energy, is going to create some sort of opportunity for changes to take place for your physical self. And again, it's an opportunity. You would have to take some sort of action here. We'll also have Venus in Leo, square Chiron in Aries. And so square, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to any kind of internal healing. What this really feels like here is that maybe you just don't have the time to do some sort of internal healing, because you're talking about doing something at home or taking some sort of action at home, and it seems a lot like there's a healing that's taking place with energy outside of you, so your friendships, and maybe it's not healing energy, but it's really kind of growth type of energy that's happening outside of you, and so it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge because you're not spending the time on yourself. This Venus and Leo energy will also be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius would be any kind of internal changes that you want to make as they relate to your career. And so whatever's happening at home is opposite whatever you want to happen within your career. And so it's a push-pull energy. You can find that happy medium. It does exist. You just have to work for it. And then on the 20th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen at 4:43 Eastern time. Mars in Gemini. So Gemini is all about decisions, it's information, it's communication. Mars is very action oriented. So this would be a very informed type of decision based on a lot of facts, a lot of information, understanding the implications of it all. Mars in Gemini for you is sitting in your second house of personal finances. And this Mars in Gemini will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so any kind of action that you're taking in your personal finances, again, something very informed, very clear decision on your part, it's going to blend with whatever it is that you want with your friendships, whatever your ideal tribe is or the relationship that you have with those people, it's going to blend. This Mars in Gemini will sextile Moon in the sign of Virgo. And so that Virgo energy occupies your fifth house. And this indicates that whatever informed decision you're making on your personal finances, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take some action as it relates to your passion projects or your children. And there's something about, again, understanding the details here. Both Gemini and Virgo are ruled by Mercury. So it's all about communication. It's all about the details here. Virgo does have that added element of healing connected to it. And so there might be some sort of healing energy, but it's creating some sort of opportunity. So it's getting grounded and practical in what you value, your personal finances, again, related to creating an opportunity in passion projects or short-term relationships, children. This Mars in Gemini will also sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so any kind of informed action as it relates to your finances will also create some opportunity for you to make some changes to your physical self. I swear, I think I have like some sort of like bird or something right outside my window. Hopefully you can't hear that. Anyway, so Mars in Gemini will also square Chiron in Aries. And so this Mars in Gemini energy, again, related to your personal finances, some sort of informed decision, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to any kind of internal healing that needs to take place. And it feels like maybe it's just not the right time to take some sort of action here. This Mars in Gemini is also opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So when you think about what you're trying to do with your personal finances, that informed decision, it's going to be opposite any kind of internal change that you want to make as it relates to your career, your public reputation, something along those lines. Again, energy you can work with, you just have to find that happy medium. And then on the 21st, we have the second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So we just had one on June 21st. We have another one on July 21st. This one happens at 6:17 in the morning Eastern time. And when this happens, we've got the sun in the sign of Cancer. We've got the moon in the sign of Capricorn. They're at opposite points. The sun is about expressing your feelings in the sign of Cancer. The moon in Capricorn is, how do I feel about my responsibilities and this sense of duty to other people or to anything that you've already put into place. And so for you, it's a third house, ninth house type of energy. So when you think about the sun in Cancer, really expressing how you feel, it's going to be opposite to maybe some sort of structure related to your growth potential could be highlighted here. And so there might be this push-pull type of energy where you have something in place that you need to go after, but you're expressing yourself in such a way that it's opposite. So during these full moons, they do talk to the planets pretty much the same like they'll talk to all the same planets just in different ways. And so this moon in Capricorn will trine the Mars and Gemini energy. And so how you feel about your growth and the strategies that you've put in place for your growth are actually going to blend with whatever action that you're taking as it relates to your personal finances. So that one's really positive here. The sun will also sextile Mars, and so it's still a positive energy. So any kind of expressing your feelings, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take more action as it relates to your personal finances, because this one is an opportunity creator versus the other one, the moon energy, which just blends. We'll have the moon and the sun actually both independently square Chiron in Aries, and so they're both going to create some sort of obstacle to any kind of internal healing. So you have some sort of growth structure in place. You have some sort of game plan around your growth that is preventing you from being able to heal. It's just creating some sort of challenge. You can work through it. Along the same lines, expressing how you feel is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to some sort of internal healing that needs to take place. We'll also have the moon trine Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so how you feel about this game plan, this strategy you have related to your growth and what it is that you're trying to accomplish there, it's going to blend with whatever changes are taking place to your physical self. Whereas the sun is going to create some sort of opportunity for you to make changes to your physical self here. We'll also have the moon in Capricorn sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so when you think about these growth structures, this way that you want to expand yourself and kind of get yourself to the next level, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to do some more reflection on the type of friends that you want to have around you. Whereas the sun energy, it's going to blend a lot easier. So expressing yourself, expressing your feelings, it's going to easily blend with the type of friends that you want to have or your existing friendships. It's really going to blend in a really, really positive way there, because this is how you feel about them, how you feel about their role in your life, all of that. The moon in Capricorn will conjunct Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so when you think about your growth and the structures that you might have in place or some sort of plan that you might have already come up with that you feel really positive about, it's going to align with whatever internal transformation is taking place as it relates to your work environment or your public reputation. Whereas the sun in Cancer, so expressing how you feel, is going to be opposite that energy, where it is going to feel like a push-pull, like I want to make these changes as it relates to my work or my public reputation, but how I'm expressing myself and the depths of my feelings are different. And so it's that push-pull. Then the next day, we have the sun enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen on the 22nd at 3:45 in the morning Eastern time. And the sun actually rules the sign of Leo. So it's a lot of positivity. It's a lot of being bold and assertive and expressing yourself. Leo is not a shy sign at all. And for you, the sun in Leo is going to be in your 4th house of home. And it's going to trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so again, kind of going back to what we saw before, any kind of action that you're taking at home, the way that you're expressing yourself in your home life, it's going to blend with your friendships and the way that you like your friends to be, or that relationship that you have with them, the way that you want it to be. We'll have the sun in Leo sextile Mars in Gemini. So again, whatever bold action you're taking at home or expressing yourself, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action on your personal finances, creating your own stability here. The sun in Leo will sextile Uranus and Taurus. It's also going to create some sort of opportunity for you to make changes to your physical self. It's a lot of energy happening here. We'll also have the sun in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so when it comes to your home life, this is where home versus work. There's things happening in your home life that are opposite to the things that you want to happen in your work life or your public reputation. And so how you're communicated at home and maybe your loyalty to your home life, something like that is opposite the changes that you want to make in your work environment. And these are internal changes. This Pluto retrograde, it's about breaking down of some sort of barrier. And so it's a push-pull energy. You can make it work. You just have to figure out that middle ground. And then on the 25th, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Virgo. So that's going to happen at 6:42 in the evening, Eastern time. And so Mercury actually rules Virgo as well as Gemini. So there's a lot of intellectual thinking and getting into the details happening here. Virgo energy is also a healing type of energy. And so now you're talking about some sort of communication as it relates to healing, which blends because Mercury will trine Chiron in Aries. So for you, Mercury in Virgo is sitting in your 5th house. So this is your passion projects, your children, all of the ways that you spend your free time outside of work. It's going to blend with whatever internal healing needs to take place here. So whatever you're doing, so if there's some sort of passion project or maybe being around children, something like that helps to heal some sort of internal wound, that's the type of energy. We'll have Mercury in Virgo square Mars in Gemini. So as you're going through this healing, it is going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to anything that you any kind of action that you want to take as it relates to your personal finances or creating that financial stability for yourself. But it's almost like it's just like one or the other right now. It's creating an obstacle or a challenge. You can work through the energy. You do have to work through it though. It's not something that's going to happen naturally. This Mercury and Virgo energy will also square Uranus and Taurus. And so it's going to create some sort of challenges to the changes that are taking place to you on a physical level. And so what you can see is working on this healing, really focusing here on that internal healing. It's impacting you externally. And then on the 26th, we have Chiron station retrograde. And so that's going to happen at 9:59 in the morning Eastern time. The interesting thing about this one here, because Chiron is our wounded warrior. So these are the wounds coming to the surface. This is in the sign of Aries. Aries is very action oriented. With Chiron retrograde, this would indicate that these wounds are finally coming to the surface to be healed. You might have noticed them before, but now they're going to become front and center. Something needs to be done about this. Aries is going to require some sort of action here. So when Chiron stations retrograde, it's going to conjunct the moon in Aries. This is all sitting in your 12th house. This is all sitting in that house of subconscious. But what this indicates is that you're going to feel really good about the actions that you need to take. You're going to have this understanding on what it is that you need to do here from an emotional standpoint. You're going to understand the depths of that wound and what that means. Chiron retrograde will trine Mercury in Virgo because this happens right after Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. And so what this is doing here is it's really, again, understanding the depths of your subconscious wound coming to the surface, understanding what you need to do in order to heal it. This Chiron will also trine Venus in Leo. And so this is about your home life, things that are happening in your home life, any kind of balance or anything that you're trying to bring together in your home life is also going to blend with whatever healing needs to take place. And so there's this real kind of coming together of this energy to help you kind of deal with these wounds that are coming to the surface. Now we will have Chiron square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this indicates that whatever wound is coming to the surface, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the internal transformation taking place as it relates to your work or your public reputation. So this one is a little bit more difficult, but the emphasis here is really on this Aries energy and really focused on taking some sort of action to heal yourself. So there's a lot of ways that this energy you can start to work with this energy. Even with this square, you can find a way to work with this energy. It's very much, so a square is very much like a Saturn type of energy. You just need to find a way to work through it. It's coming up with a plan, figuring out how to make this all kind of harmonious. You can do it. So Taurus, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.